If you're looking for the most amazing podcast ever, well, this isn't it. You're listening to the Average Fellas Podcast, guaranteed to let you down and leave you unsatisfied.
Hey, good morning, and thank you for listening to another episode of the Average Fellas Podcast. I'm your host, Zodizach, coming to you live all the way from Riverside, California. Today is Monday, October 5th, 2020, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are still live. We're still on the air. We're still rolling and producing this little show here, guys. I just want to thank all the subscribers, all the listeners, the downloaders, you guys doing your part out there. I really appreciate it. Remember, you guys can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you prefer to listen to any of your podcasts. You can find us there. We're on a bunch of different directories. Today's episode is going to be a fun episode. I have a really awesome guest on the call today. Someone who has grown up doing chasing the creative dream alongside me in the same town, same community. We participated in some of the same creative little ventures, music, drama, all those things. Whatever small town stuff has to offer for creative kids, we definitely shared that space. So this is a good opportunity for me to catch up with a friend and a fan. I'm a fan of what she's doing. So I'm excited for that. That's my dog Rusty Roo in the background. So check us out on all those things. Like, subscribe, and help us out, guys. Helps us rank up in the directories. We really appreciate it. Okay, so I'm just going to get into the show this morning. So like I said, my guest here is a friend of mine who, like I said, I've grown up in the same community. We shared a lot of the same interests around creative stuff like art and music and drama. So without any further ado, I'd like to bring on a friend and a fellow creative, Vanessa Love. How are you this morning, Vanessa?
Good morning, everybody. I'm doing fantastic, and I hope the same for you.
Thank you. I know it's not like an early show, but at least we had some time to get some coffee, and we're ready to go.
Heck yeah! I got my butter toast with my little cinnamon and brown sugar. Goodness.
Ooh, I'm on keto right now. I shouldn't be touching the sugar, but you know how that is.
I don't do keto.
Oh man.
Maybe someday.
Okay. So yeah, once again, I just wanted to, just talk to you a little bit about, Vanessa that I know, that I grew up with, that I remember from, doing stuff with, we participated in a nonprofit art group called Shout together. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah. Shout, performing arts.
Yes, exactly.
That was awesome. Miss Monica was so awesome.
Man, I got to tip my hat to that woman because she gave us an opportunity that nobody else did, right? Well, at least for me, it felt like that, and that's kind of like why I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, because I feel like maybe some of that, a little bit of her rubbed off on you, if that makes any sense.
It absolutely did. It's funny that you mentioned that, because she was a huge inspiration behind why I started a performing arts school. Because I remember the experience that we had with her was so amazing. Like, there was nothing bad about it. It was just such a beautiful, fun time. And she was the type of person that you're like, man, like, I want to be happy like that.
Yeah.
I want to be fun like her. I want to enjoy life, and I want to see things differently. Like, I want to do that. So after Shout ended, there was nothing going on in Los Banos for a while, and I wasn't even in Los Banos for a while, but then when I came back, I ended up starting Dreamcatcher Studios. So, yeah.
Wow, man! I mean, it's such a good, like, it's a cool thing to, like. I remember those shout days. It's just a ragtag team of performers that wanted to just get it out. Like, just wanted to do something in front of people, like share their talent, really. And that's inspiring. That's kind of what I want to do on this podcast, is share people's passion, share people's talents, right? And speaking of talents, I'll move on to that in a second. But once again, so I know the Vanessa that I grew up with. Then there's also a Vanessa Love. So is there a difference between the two here, or is there like a branding going on? I kind of wanted to dig in this a little bit.
Like the difference between Vanessa Lovato and Vanessa Love?
Yes.
Oh, well, um, it was strictly like a stage name type of experience. Back in the day when I was living in the Bay Area performing, I did use my original last name, but then we had what was called super fans. The people that we were performing with had super fans, and those super fans would find us on social media.
Oh my Lord.
So yeah, so we just changed our names just a little bit.
Oh my gosh. Can you talk about some of that? Talk about some of those like performing gigs that you had back in the day?
Yeah, absolutely. My largest contract was actually working with Great America. I was there for about 5 years, and every time they brought me back to do a show, it was different. So one year I would do rock, the next year I would do country, the next year I would do pop.
Wow.
My favorite year was my last year with Great America, which was jazz and swing.
Wow.
So we had a full band, and the band was called Summer Night Swing. And we essentially took all of today's hits, but changed them up and gave them like a big band swing sound.
Wow.
So it was really cool. And the greatest part about that is that I formed friendships from that band, and we still perform today. We actually have a song that's releasing today. It's an Alicia Keys cover, If I Ain't Got You. Yes. The band leader, Jared Cruz, rearranged that song, and so we are releasing the recording today.
Ooh, where can we find that at? We need to plug it. Plug it.
Yeah, I know, right? You can find that on the 408 Collectives Facebook page and the 408 Collectives Instagram.
Ooh, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna drop some links. Hopefully we can get some people to check that out.
Heck yeah.
So, once again, this podcast is about, it's the Average Fellas podcast. It's I don't know if this maybe resonates with you, but I don't know if you've ever shared the feeling like, why would people take the time to invest in my dream or my thought or my talent? And I wonder if that's an average fella's thought, because I don't know, like me putting out the show is kind of like that. It's an extension of my creativity. And I'm like, I don't know if people would ever take the time to support it or believe in it. But then again, I think that could probably be an average fella's thought. Have you had that before?
I had the opposite thought when I first started. I think I'm a big dreamer and I'm very optimistic. So in my mind, it's like, why wouldn't anyone support this dream?
Okay.
This dream is fantastic. And so my experience with that was I had to realize, honey, your dream is your dream. Mm-hmm. Nobody is responsible for your dream but you. Nobody believes in your dream but you. So if anybody's going to make your dream happen, it's going to be you.
Ooh, preach it. Ooh.
And here at Dreamcatcher Studios, we don't just chase our dreams. We catch them.
Ooh. That's the slogan of the century right there, man.
Thank you. Came up with that one myself.
Oh, man, that's so good. So, what or who inspired you to pursue music and singing? Because this is, as far as like Vanessa Love, performer, entertainer, musician, vocalist, what was it that really started that? What inspired you to start that? Looking at music like, wow, I love it.
I've literally always loved music. And my first experience with singing and performing was in the church.
Hey.
So back in the day, they had a gospel choir, and I loved the way it sounded, and I loved everything about it, and I didn't know why it made me feel so good. But I knew, like, when I was 4 or 5 years old, I knew singing was my happiness. I knew that was my thing. And I didn't even sound good. I sounded like a chicken.
Oh.
Like, it was really bad. I made faces and everything. People would make fun of me. It was like really bad. But like, I knew from a young age that I wanted to sing. And a couple of my inspirations, one is a group called Out of Eden. It's a sister trio, and they do like a lot of like cool R&B harmonies. And they did a cover of Lovely Day.
Ooh, okay.
And yeah, and so that song is just about waking up and the sun is shining, and it's gonna be a lovely day.
Yeah.
And that's what caught my attention, because that is totally my personality. Like, let's make this a good day. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be all right. So the fact that song was like very positive and very like empowering and sunshine and beautiful. Like I was like, dude, like I like this group.
Yeah.
So I ended up like gravitating towards them, which led me to other groups at that time, other Christian groups. And then later on in life, I was super into alternative rock. Really like I loved Blink-182. I love My Chemical Romance. I love Paramore. I just like loved it all. And I liked the local bands. We used to have Battle of the Bands here.
Yeah.
I loved those. It was all cool. And then after the rock phase, that's when I got into like big band and swing and jazz and like old school songs. So yeah, that was like my journey for music is like crazy. Started with gospel, went to rock, then went to jazz, then like now it's everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So, well, okay, that's interesting. So like you've sort of experienced a little bit of everything. You've had your experiences in a different genres of music. You've kind of gone through the circuit of all of them, right? You've gone through the country.
Yeah.
You said you've went through rock and roll, R&B, gospel. So
Mm-hmm.
you have a very flexible and like wide range of like vocal ability because of your experience, right?
I think so, yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. I'm just like picking up on these things where it's just like, yeah, like just geez, like if I could have been in a country band for like 2-3 years, I'd probably be a better guitar player or something, these little things that you think about.
Heck yeah. It's actually really interesting that you say that because prior to this, I had a music manager, and their biggest problem with me is that I was too diverse.
Wow.
They hated the fact that I couldn't stick to just one thing. And I was like, well, the thing you want me to stick to, I don't like it. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like, when it comes out of me, when these songs come out of me, or when this music comes out of me, it's like,
Yeah.
This is what it is. I don't want to change it. So the fact that I was so diverse was kind of offsetting to them, but then it worked out in my favor because that diversity is what gets me hired. Oh, you need a country singer? I'm your girl. Oh, you need a rock and roll cover band singer? I'm your girl. Oh, you need a jazz singer for your Christmas party? I am your girl. So as much as they didn't appreciate my diversity, it ended up benefiting me.
Wow. Whoa. Ooh. Sorry. I accidentally messed up my mic.
So be yourself, ladies and gentlemen.
There you
Be
go.
yourself.
Exactly. So, when did pursuing your passion of music actually become the goal?
It became the goal when I could no longer stand the job that I was working, which was insane because the job that I was working was a respectable job. I was doing events at Stanford University, making a lot of money, and I even had the opportunity to do events with the San Francisco 49ers. Like, They gave me the letter. They're like, here's our offer. Are you ready? And then I was just like, nah, because I really don't enjoy the negative aspects that come along with the job. And I had never owned my own business. I had never worked for myself. I did do teaching and stuff like that in my past, but I had never been on my own. And it's almost like I was so sick and tired of listening to these people who did not work half as hard as I did, and they're bossing me around.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That's what literally drove me like to the edge. I was like, I don't care how much money I'm making. I don't care how good this job is. If I don't have respect for the people who are bossing me around, like I'm basically a slave, and I didn't want to be a slave anymore.
Wow. That's how I feel too. I feel like that's kind of like the place that I've gotten to, like in my career paths, right? So I'm like, why not do something that I like, do something I love, instead of putting myself in a position where I'm like, well, there's money here, there's money over here. Yeah. So, that's obviously why this question came up for me. I feel like, I'm seeing what you're doing with Dreamcatcher Studios, and I'm seeing like, wow, she's doing something for herself. Like it's inspiring for me. I figure like, man, she's a homie from LB, and if she can do it, then I can do it. It's inspiring. So I just shout you out for that. Thanks for leading the way. Thanks for showing us average fellas that we can do it.
It's okay. I'm an average gala.
There you go. So what fuels your passion for art and creativity today?
The fact that everything outside of art and creativity is so ugly and dark.
Can you
Simple as that.
Can you unpack that? Can you unpack that a little bit? Just what makes the art, unpack the dynamic between like why it's beautiful.
So, okay, I definitely will. Bob Marley, I'm pretty sure it was Bob Marley, said something along the lines of, there are evil people in this world and they never stop working. So why should I stop working? Why should I take a day off? And that kind of inspired the whole trying to do good every day in every way. And for me, art and music and dance and acting have a way to bring out that beauty, not just in myself, but it brings that beauty out in others. While I was teaching, I noticed that children specifically are very afraid to express themselves with words. But if you give them a piece of paper and a pencil, they will write all of their feelings down in a picture.
Yeah.
So that to me is very powerful. It's like a way to communicate.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? Like we can communicate through art.
Yeah. That is
And
really,
even,
it's true. It is, no, it's all good. It is really true because, you know, that is true that you say it because, one of my favorite movies, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I think it's the Third Kind. I can't remember exactly the name of it. It's a Steven Spielberg movie. The way they communicate with the extraterrestrials is through music. Boo, boo,
cool.
boo, boo. And then the extraterrestrials use it to communicate back. So it is true. It's a form of art is a form of communication. Like you said, when you give a kid a pencil and a paper and they're able to put it down. That's kind of like, that's the discovery that's like so beautiful in art, like where you figure like, I don't know, to me it's endless. It's like it's untapped like places that like, well, let me see if for me as a creative person, when I record on a microphone, for me it becomes like, well, let me see what I can do with my thoughts on a microphone. All of a sudden the podcast is born. When it comes to like music, is like, let me see how like, you know, obviously I was an emo kid back in the day, but let me see how much emotion I can just put out there on in my music, you know. And yeah, it's true. You get it's a way to express yourself at a more intimate level, I think, with the world around you, and that's cool. That's how I feel about it. So
yeah, art is like, it's like pure potentiality.
That's the creative space I need to be in. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
So I want to kind of zero in a little bit on Dreamcatcher Studio, because if anything is possible, Dreamcatcher Studio, I think, from what I understand, is a place to facilitate that creativity, or is a place to help harness some of that creativity. So can you talk about Dreamcatcher Studios, what sparked the idea, and how that kind of came into fruition?
Okay, absolutely. What sparked the idea was growing up in the community of Las Vegas and not having the resources that I wanted as an artist or as a creative. Shout was probably the closest thing that came to that. And then after Shout was like maybe high school drama club.
Right.
But even then, you know, like with any club or with any school organization, it's kind of predetermined who gets what role, or
right,
you know, who's going to do better where because they've been here for longer. So it's almost like the new kid doesn't have a fighting chance.
Right.
And those are the type of things that I had experienced when I was younger. So I was like, you know what, like essentially no one else is doing this.
True.
And I'm getting sick and tired of sitting on my butt waiting for someone else to do it. Like, it's literally upsetting me that no one else is doing it. So what do I have to do? I got to do it myself.
Gotta do it yourself.
I got to do it myself. I can't sit here and expect anybody else to do it for me. I have to do it myself. If I want to get it done, I got to do it myself. It makes me laugh when people say, oh, we should do this, or, you know, we should make sure the garbage gets thrown. We should. You noticed that it needed to get thrown, honey. You can throw it. You should.
I gotta make sure my wife doesn't listen to this episode because she's gonna quote me on that
one. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I get you.
Really
100%.
I got tired of the whole we should do something. There needs to be something done for these kids. Like, someone needs to do something. And finally I was like, I guess I have to be that one, because I'm not going to wait around for anybody to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. I started as the Academy of Music, which was just voice lessons. I started with a big name. I don't know what I was thinking, but Academy of Music.
You were dreaming.
Only voice lessons. Yeah. And then the voice lessons turned into piano turned into guitar and drum, and then it just kept escalating from there. And once we outgrew the first location that we had, we ended up moving to a larger location so we could facilitate more group classes. So
wow.
Now we're not just a school of music, we're Dreamcatcher Studios, which essentially offers everything, not just music classes. It offers live studio recording, photography, videography. If you want to do a music video, we can help you with that. We do music management. So like there are a couple of artists that are like, hey, we need help. Like, can you help us get followers? Can you help us, And I'm totally on board with that because I love helping people. So we do a wide range of things now, and it's really exciting for me.
Man, that's awesome. And like you said, like you're tired of waiting for somebody to do it, and you decide to do it yourself. Like, what does it take to help, especially when it comes to arts and creative stuff, especially when it comes to like music. Like, here's the thing. There's the idea that, your garage band, hundreds of millions of garage band, there's a slim to none chance that you'll ever make a living off of doing this. And I don't, and that's usually what's told to kids, like, I don't think you should focus on your guitar. Maybe you should get a degree and go the 4-year track. And then after that, get the respectable job that has the retirement for you, instead of pursuing a dream, a creative outlet like art, like drama, like singing. But I think in today's market, like some of these things, like you've been able to turn a career out of a passion. You've been able to follow a passion through your career, an extension of your career. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. Is Dreamcatcher Studio an extension of Vanessa Love, the artist? And, because that's what it sounds like.
I wish it was. No, I feel like Vanessa Love, the artist, is just a singer, or a backup singer or a musician. Vanessa Love, the artist, is strictly clock in, clock out. Vanessa Love, the person, is totally different. Big-hearted, trying to help the community, trying to help the children. That's like priority. I was telling my partner the other day, like, why do I worry about the world's problems? Like, why am I trying to save the world? Like, I have to start small and stop thinking about, what's happening overseas and all these all these crazy things. I got to stop and just be like, okay, one thing at a time. Start with me, start with my home, my community, my state, et cetera, et cetera.
No, hey.
So yeah, I think. What? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, and I'll go back and edit that little piece out. It's so true though. Talking about affecting your community where you're at and stuff, and like really connecting those kids' dreams and showing them that it can be a reality, right? That you don't have to wait for somebody to come along. Like, you've just decided, I'm going to take charge and follow my dream myself. And that's sort of kind of like, that's, for Los Banos, for a small community, we're talking less than 36,000, 35,000 people. Last time I checked, I can't remember, maybe 45,000. It's a relatively small community. And as far as like outlets for children, I remember getting the cops called on me for having a band, for my band was too loud, right? And I remember my dad, he went out front, he told the police officer, he said, "Sir, there are 4 boys in my garage playing their instruments. They're not smoking weed, throwing rocks at windows, spray painting anybody's, house, or, they're inside making noise, but, it's what, like, why can't they do that, And it just kind of it reminded me, kind of goes back to that, like there's these, kids, like you said, wanting to make it a better opportunity for them, you know, in that little bit, whatever it might be, providing these services at Dreamcatcher Studio, that's a world of a difference. Because if I was a kid and I was like, yo, there's a studio in town, and if I could save so much money, I can go in there and record my record, right? That's a dream. That's achievable now with Dreamcatcher Studios, right? You want to put that photo out there. You want your Instagram and make a little real quick teaser video for your new, you know, SoundCloud record you just put out. You can do that at Dreamcatcher Studios. That's amazing. That's that you're providing so much opportunity for these creative kids now, right? That to me is awesome. That is awesome.
Thank you.
So can we talk about the process of building Dreamcatcher Studio? Talk about, maybe highlight the hard work that people don't see. We're talking about the dreams. We're talking about how you're harnessing, you know, kids can not only can they chase their dreams, but they can reach their dreams, kind of, you know, we're talking about that. Those are the successes, but maybe talk about the hard work that people don't see.
Okay, let me tell you about what Karen did to me this morning. She sent me an email. Oh, yes. And this isn't the first time. Telling me about, we got notification that Dreamcatcher Studios is going to hold a raffle. Just to let you know, it is against California law to have a raffle if you're not a nonprofit, etc., etc. So these type of emails I get all the time. Our last event in Los Baños was canceled by the Merced County Sheriff himself.
Wow.
Because he was just he was so upset that we didn't hire him and his team as security for our event. So 2 days before the event, he canceled us.
Wow.
Yeah, so there are a lot of hardships that go along with opening a business, and it starts with, to be honest with you, it starts with people who have the time to hate on you. Somebody out there had the time to send an email saying, oh, Dreamcatcher Studios is having a raffle, without even investigating further, like, hey, Dreamcatcher Studios is having a raffle that has nothing to do with money or prizes. So we're not breaking the law, but you know what? Anyways, I don't know. You can edit that part out too, but it starts with the haters. It starts with people calling and reporting and assuming that you're breaking the law, and you're not. So it starts there, and then it continues on to, you know, further up the line, like whether it's the city or it's the county, or at this point now it's the state. And they just nitpick and they find reasons to go against what you're trying to accomplish, even if what you're trying to accomplish is community friendly, family friendly, even if it's beneficial to nonprofits, even if it's beneficial to the youth. They don't care.
Yeah.
Administrative people do not care. All they care about is, one, which rule is being broken, and two, how can we fine you for breaking that rule?
Yeah.
So those are the type of things that you can expect if you plan on being a small business owner or an entrepreneur. And I'm sorry, that's the dark side of the business, but I wish someone would have told me that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the strength to deal with it at first. When I first started this business, I would go home crying at least once a week, thinking to myself, what have I done? I've ruined my life. Why did I choose this? You know, so you have to be really strong, and you have to have a good head on your shoulders and know that the missiles and the bombs are coming straight your way. You just have to do your best to dodge every single bullet that they throw at you, and you be strong enough to keep going.
Wow. Oof. Man, I hope who's ever listening to this out there, I'm saying you're dropping bombs right now. Actually, you know, it's so funny. Your brother is an artist too. And I actually got to interview him last week.
Yes.
And one of his lyrics, and I'm just so proud of him. His project it's turning out to it's growing, it's becoming polished, and it's good. So I love to listen to it. And one of the things I highlighted, he said, you know, something about now he was dropping nukes, and I highlighted it in my episode. I said, what does that mean? And he's like, people who know me know I'm I'm a jokester kind of guy. I'm a guy of energy, and I always like to have a good time. But, when I started this project, I had to drop the wisdom on them. Now I'm dropping nukes. And, man, that what you just preached about the small business stuff, that was dropping nukes right there. That was dropping nukes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Runs in the family.
There it is. Exactly. Yeah. So, what is your hope for Dreamcatcher Studios in the future?
So my hope for Dreamcatcher Studios right now, because we are in a pandemic. This changed the game. We went from thriving to barely surviving. And that's just the reality of what the pandemic did to Dreamcatcher. So my hope for the future is that we're refined by this situation, not defined by it. I want to grow.
Yeah.
I want to learn. I want to keep moving forward. Like, literally every day when I wake up, I see this sign that says refuse to lose.
Wow.
And even on my worst days, if I just read that, refuse to lose, it's like a kick in the butt. You're like, all right, girl, just get your butt up and do it. Stop crying. Stop complaining. There is a way. There is a way. And so my hopes for Dreamcatcher Studios would just to become an entity that people trust, really. Because what's happening, especially with, the entertainment industry, the kids' parents or any parent is like kind of hesitant. I don't know if I want my kid to be a model. I don't know. Maybe not acting. A singer? Are you sure? Because of the awful stories that have happened with the entertainment industry. So I don't want Dreamcatchers to have that reputation. I want us to be the place where, dang, my kids went there, they learned, they grew. Now look at them go. I was trying to think the other day, like, man, like, have we done anything? Because, with any business or with any enterprise, you go through your downhill spiral where you're just like, what is life?
Yeah.
What is life? So I was like, gosh, have we accomplished anything? And then I was reminded, like, heck yeah, we accomplished something. One of our students left Los Banos, went to LA, got accepted into a performing arts school, performed as a Disney princess, recorded, her own album, started as an actress, and now is a TikTok sensation.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, there's one.
There's one. There's a success story.
And and that one is worth it. And if there's another one down the line, which I have a feeling there is, if there's just another one down the line that I can help or be helpful to, then it's totally worth it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember growing up wanting to, obviously be a better guitar player, be a better vocalist. That was like my wheelhouse as a kid growing up. Like, I wanted to be La Bamba. I wanted to be Richie Valens so bad. And but for me, that was
not
like
my Richie.
every time but for me, that was the thing. It was like, man, like, if there was access to somebody to help refine my skills, that we'd, hopefully, there was a place I can go that could help me hone my interest and my skills, right? And it sounds like that's kind of like what Dreamcatchers is really doing for the community, or doing for young artists, young creative kids, and that to me is awesome because, I'm going to be 32 next month. And I finally thought, why not chase something that I want to do? Why not? I literally have always practiced podcasting. I have hours of old recordings from like 8 years ago, practicing while I was mopping the floors at Starbucks, podcasting. And I'm thinking, whatever, it was something I was interested in. And but now I'm 32, and I'm thinking, like, you know what? It's never too late to go chase your dream. And so that's why I had to get you guys in here. I had to talk to you about it because it's inspiring for me. And if you can help those kids, you can help those creative kids in LB, a small community. I mean, obviously, I think you're gonna. I feel like that your business and what you guys are doing, the services that you're providing, are definitely more. You're going to reach more people than just the Los Banos community. So for me, like that idea that it's a small, you're starting in that community, you're helping those kids there. I hope that people listening to this would pour back into Dreamcatcher Studio, because you have the right heart for it. You guys have the right mission. And I want to highlight that for these listeners. So speaking of Dreamcatcher Studio, I know you guys are hosting an event on October 10th. Can you highlight that event for us?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, be sure to join us on Saturday, October 10th from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Bellotto Park Event Center located at the San Benito County Fairgrounds for a Fairy Tale Fall Festival featuring your favorite Disney characters.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome. So on October 10th, can you talk about like maybe, I know that there's obviously, the COVID situation has affected how you guys do business and how you guys, do these certain events. I know you guys put on events in the past where it wasn't, COVID changes everything. So maybe you can talk about that a little bit, talk about how you've had to pivot as a business to accommodate the community with the COVID safe sort of entertainment.
For sure. So as you mentioned, we did do events prior to COVID. So it was really kind of like, oh my God, what do we do? How are we going to do this? But then we noticed that other counties were doing drive-in movie nights or drive-in style concerts. So we decided, hey, let's try that. We tested 2 of them and they went really well. And so by the third one, we decided, you know what, let's go all out. Let's make it a really big show.
Yeah.
So we contacted the San Benito County Fairgrounds and asked if they would be willing to host something like this. And of course they were willing. They welcomed us with open arms. It was super awesome. So essentially how it works is we have all of the entertainers, backstage or in their changing rooms or wherever their designated areas are. And all of the guests are in designated parking stalls, and they are safely distanced from each other so you can actually have a picnic with your family in your parking stall if you choose. Or you could just stay in your car if that's what makes you feel safer. But people have the option to stay inside of their car or sit outside of their car and kind of tailgate. And for this particular event, it's going to be super exciting because we have stilt walkers, jugglers, live musicians. We have world champion ballroom dancers. So it's going to be a very exciting show.
So, I mean, it sounds like a America's Got Talent variety, like just fun family night. Like you could bring everybody. There should be something for everybody, that you're providing, and that sounds good, especially during COVID. Like, oh my gosh, I've been dying to get out of the house.
Yeah, you should definitely come. It would be cool. Because another thing about this event, like, did you notice once October hits, everything turns evil? It's like the weirdest thing. It scares me. I'm a scaredy cat. I don't care. I'll admit it. Hey, everyone, I'm a scaredy cat. But, like, I was like, okay, we need to do something in October for people like me who I want to dress up and I want to have fun. But I don't want blood and guts and all that weird, like crazy, dark, evil in my face, know? And I'm sure there are children, I'm sure if a 30-year-old woman feels this way, I'm sure children feel the same way. Like, hey, mom, hey, dad, I want to get dressed up, but I don't want to see all this crazy, scary stuff.
Right.
So that was the whole plan behind the event. Let's do a festival where everyone can dress up, have a good time, similar to other fall festivals, but just eliminate the scariness and make it bright and glittery and happy and
family friendly.
Beautiful.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. Super excited for that event. So, I know that Dreamcatchers is... How long have you guys actually been Dreamcatcher Studio?
We've only been Dreamcatcher Studios for maybe 6 months.
Really? Okay. Yeah. So that.
Yeah, legally.
Wow. I don't know, I thought it was longer than that already, but
No, no. Before this, we were Los Banos Academy of Music.
that's right. That's right.
But then when we started adding more, like the studio recording, photography, all of the extra stuff, the Academy of Music didn't stay true to who we were.
Uh-huh.
We kind of evolved and adapted, and we became something else. We became a totally different business. So I thought it would be in our best interest to change the name completely, but it actually wasn't a name change. It was a closure.
Yeah.
Los Banos Academy of Music legally is closed for good. State of California does not recognize LB Academy of Music as a business. It's done. Now Dreamcatcher Studios is recognized as a business.
Wow. Wow. And
Completely different.
You guys actually have a brick and mortar location, right?
Yeah.
You're
we
not
have
just a
brick-and-mortar
digital
location.
studio.
No. We're located on 5th Street.
So it's for me, it's super exciting. I saw your guys' post when you guys posted it up. I was blown away. I was jazzed by it. I just thought, man, it just brings back home a little bit, it just one for the underdogs, a win for us, the underdogs. I don't know. That's how I feel about Los Banos sometimes. I'm like, anytime we get a win in that community, yes, it's always good. And I kind of want to hit this last question here real quick. Well, your answer doesn't have to be quick, but the question, if Dreamcatcher Studio was a letter of hope, who is that letter intended for?
The youth. 100%. It would say something along the lines of life is tough, but you're tougher. I don't know. It's hard to say what a letter would say to the kids, because I feel like I've been trying to say things to the kids this whole time.
Yeah.
I have these little things called monthly messages. One monthly message is refuse to lose. Refuse to lose.
Refuse to lose.
Just don't you ever lose. Don't you ever, ever, ever lose. Which essentially means, like, if you're in that position where you can quit, do not quit. Keep going at all costs. It's going to get better. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get brighter. Refuse to lose. So there's one. Another one was giving is good, because giving is good. Give good. Give good to others. Be good to others. If you don't have anything to give, if you don't have money to give a smile. Give a hello. Open the door. Do something good for others. That was another monthly message. So a lot of the things that I would tell the kids are just kind of like life lessons. Like, another person was like, why does this child choose to bully me? Like, why am I always getting bullied, Miss Vanessa? Why do people have to be so mean? Why do they have to be so mean? And I just told them, I don't understand why they choose to be mean, but you can choose to be good no matter how mean they are. And that's it. So be good. That's what the letter would say. Be good. Do good. Love each other. Good vibes only. This is a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah. No, I get you. I totally feel you. No. And that's who I hope that's what I want to see for the community too. So obviously I had to ask you those questions. I see it in your guys's, I see the mission, I see it in your guys's, your logo, your name, the spirit of the studio. And it's I want to highlight that. I need people to hear that. People need to hear that, people need to hear good. Mm-hmm. Okay, so looks like we hit the 45-minute mark on this episode. Got a 45-minute mark. All right. Yeah, definitely got a lot of good nuggets of gold in this interview and in this episode. I want to go back and listen to it. I'm definitely hyped up about it. Man, a lot of good stuff in this episode. I'm so glad that you joined the call. I appreciate just the knowledge and the wisdom that you bring to the call today. And I'm hoping for your guys' success as a studio, and I'm hoping for success for the event. Yeah. yeah, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, everybody. And if you guys would like to follow us on Facebook, follow us on Facebook at Dreamcatcher Studios LB. If you want to follow us on Instagram, you could also find us at Dreamcatcher Studios LB. And always remember that you cannot have a community without unity.
Hey, community without unity. You know what? You cannot have a community without unity. That's the highlight. I was going to tell you right now, like, if there's anything you want to shout out, go for it. A little late on my part. But once again, guys, we have Vanessa Love on the call today with Dreamcatcher Studios. Pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Go check out Dreamcatcher Studios. Please go check it out. Go check out. Remember, October 10th. October 10th, they have an event. So Dreamcatcher Studios, October 10th. I'm sorry, what was the name of the event again?
A Fairy Tale Fall Festival.
There you go, Fairy Tale Fall Festival, COVID-safe entertainment for the family. Go check it out, guys. Once again, thank you for subscribing and listening and all those downloads. We'll see you guys next week. Peace and love.